Just over 2 years ago, Katie Patrick would pedal her push bike to the skyscrapers of big business, transform herself in the loo, then ride the lift dressed to impress to persuade high-flying CEOs to invest in her new green business idea.
Since then, Katie has built a multi-million-dollar sustainable business, and she joins us this morning to talk about her quest to make green the new black. Good morning, Katie.
Good morning, Katie.
You should have been head to toe in green, though.
No, but green is the new black, so that's why I'm dressed in black.
Ah, OK, get it. Yeah.
That is the challenge, though, isn't it? Is to make green and sustainable business appealing.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's time now for sustainability to be really sexy and to be branded in the same sophistication that all of your big labels are. I mean, it's such an important issue to be sustainable. I mean, it's the issue that's going to take, you know, our sort of civilisation as a whole to the next level. And I mean, if Calvin Klein can do it and BMW can do it, I mean, why can't organic food do it? It
would seem to me that this is almost like the new industrial revolution.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember when I was 19 and I was working as a chef and I was really not earning much money and I had cuts and bruises and I was looking up at these skyscrapers just going, we've had the digital revolution, we've had the industrial revolution, we've had a sexual revolution. Well, I think we're about to have a major environmental business revolution, and I just thought, I've got to do that. That's my path, my career.
Yeah, look, you make a good point, because in the past, going green was kind of down market. It was sort of seen as something that, you know, that you did if you were living in a little sort of shack in the bush, and, you know, and you kind of, you know, bucketed your own water in. But these days, that wish to be green, that green energy is throughout every suburb, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, absolutely. I mean, there is now every type of green product for every type of person. I mean, if you want to get a sophisticated type of looking green dress, I mean, you can get good designer clothes. If you want to get a beautifully architecturally designed, energy-efficient, water-efficient home, you can get it built by a really good architect. I mean, there's no reason why you can't live sort of a sophisticated, exciting, sustainable life anymore. And I think there's been a bit of a tradition of people that are into the environment are anti-making money and anti the establishment, and then people that are into making money are anti being green. But I mean, I think that is really changing, and I think that's the old days.
And that needs to happen, doesn't it? When big business, when any business starts to realise that there is money in environmental issues and going green, then this green revolution will really occur, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I want to see the people who run the wind turbine plants on the top billionaires list. Yeah. You know? I don't think it needs to be the oil companies, and it needs to be like the major car manufacturers making big four-wheel drives. You know, it can be the solar companies and the organic food companies that should be the wealthiest businesses. I mean, that would be amazing. That would change the world. Yeah.
In the past, it's always been the way that green has been more expensive too. But is that going to change in the near future?
I think it depends what product you're talking about.
Well, I'm thinking fruit and veggies have certainly been more expensive, haven't they?
But the perception is, too, further to that, perception is that green is more expensive, regardless of the product.
Well, I mean, I don't want to lie and say, no, it's not. No. But the thing is that green often is more expensive. And it comes back to, I mean, this issue of externalities in economics. Basically, if you have a product that's polluting, we don't have structures to price pollution. So you can have big sort of monoculture agriculture. It's causing sort of huge pollution problems. It's causing a whole lot of issues sort of with the Murray-Darling Basin and sort of maybe air pollution. So we're getting costs to our economy from all these different areas. So, for example, maybe you'll take it with the price of fuel. We don't price in air pollution into the price of fuel, for example. So we're paying for it through our healthcare. Whereas an environmental product, because of the environmental had to price it into the actual product. So that's why it's a little bit more expensive, why organic food is a bit more expensive, because we're not paying for it in all these other kind of ways, you know, through our taxes.
It is up to big business, though, to take the lead, isn't it?
I don't necessarily believe it's all up to big business. Like, I mean, they do have a huge responsibility, but it's up to the consumer to demand it of big business. You know, I think this whole, like, pointing the finger at big business, you know, saying, oh, it's all McDonald's fault, it's all Coca-Cola's fault. Well, we're the ones who are buying it. So, or it's all the government's fault. We're the ones who vote. I
don't mean so much as a fault, but I mean big business has the muscle to make bigger changes than we can make, and to then force those changes, force the flow-on effect, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're seeing some big businesses that are really progressive, like in the finance sector, sort of Westpac and ANZ have been moving ahead. sort of in leaps and bounds with sustainability. So that feeds through all of their investments, all of their investment banking, their shareholder relations now have sustainability sort of criteria around them.
And I did read something recently about a particular bank that was looking at an offer or a request from a big company for a loan, and they suddenly realised that if they were going to loan money to this particular big business that was going to necessarily do work that wasn't environmentally sensitive, then the vast majority of the people who then were bank customers were going to revolt, and they had to actually take that into account, and that's people power, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's shareholder activism right down to a T, which you're starting to see a whole lot more of. And in the investment community, there's this whole new area of sort of sustainable risk assessment that's coming in, which is with banks looking at what sort of companies they invest in. And they're thinking, well, if carbon trading is going to come in and we're going to have a price on carbon, if water efficiency is going to be a really big issue and there's going to be a lot of drought and the consumer market's becoming more sustainable, do we really want to invest in companies that aren't taking sustainability seriously? And it's become a very important investor relations issue.
Speaking of taking sustainability seriously, you've published the Green Pages, which is, within you have, am I right in saying 6,000 environmentally efficient, sustainable businesses listed? How do you know? How do you know that they are in fact totally environmentally cool and a sustainable business?
Well, we have an advisory board of industry experts in respective fields, like across water, across energy, across environmental standards. But I actually had to write a document. It's 55 pages long, called the Green Pages Criteria.
55 pages long?
Yeah, it took ages.
You had to be thorough.
Well, I did. And when we were developing the business, you know, we spoke to a few people and they said, Katie, you've got to get the criteria right. Nobody's going to take Green Pages seriously if it's just all kind of in your head, which it was. And then, yeah, so we had to actually write it down. So for timber products...
What sort of criteria?
Well, it goes through, we've got 500 product categories. So every product, when we've got nappies, we've got to say we have nappies that are either compostable or made of certified organic fabric.
Yeah.
When it comes to timber products, they have to be Forest Stewardship certified. When it comes to paper products, we have to, it's either Forest Stewardship certified paper products or it's a minimum 30% post-consumer recycled material. And we draw on a whole range of existing robust third-party criteria. There's a really important criteria out in the market called Good Environmental Choice. And they have a series, I think they've got about 30 different types of styles of products that they can audit. They're a bit like the Heart Foundation tick, but much more scientifically robust. So there's about, I think there's 60 products that they've certified now, largely in the construction sector. But they've just started certifying printers as well. I mean, they certified a Fuji Xerox printer as being a good environmental choice. So, you know, the more products that can actually get these robust, scientific criteria or eco-labels, it makes this a lot easier for us to just say...
Eco-labels,
we put in what's eco-labelled, and if you're not eco-labelled, we don't put you in. So.
Look, I'm also interested in another facet to your background, where you were the founding member of Green Building Council and Vice Chair of the Sustainability Committee of Property Council. And it's interesting, isn't it, now with a housing crisis in Australia and Australians and the government looking to affordable housing, does affordable housing necessarily mean that that's going to be green and sustainable housing?
There is a lot of work being done on affordable housing to be sustainable. I think there has been a lot of sort of perception in the building industry that green building is more expensive, and it can be more expensive.
Can be more expensive.
Well, on a one-off project, it's, on a one-off home, it's no doubt more expensive.
But it really depends the way that you do it. I mean, a solar panel array costs $20,000 to $30,000 for a home. I mean, you can't get away from that, but it will end up making sure that your power bills are zero. In terms of energy efficiency and solar passive design, that's one way that you can make huge sort of environmental leaps and bounds in a home design that doesn't need to cost any extra. And if it makes sure that you're not actually costing any more to run the home with the electricity bills, then it works. I mean,
and even water tanks. I mean, something as simple as water tanks or grey water. I mean, it doesn't get much simpler than that, does it?
No,
really?
when it comes, if it's done in the initial phase of the building design and the architect knows how to do it, it's just second nature. I mean, making a roof that goes like that or a roof that goes like that, so the summer sun goes out and the winter sun goes in. I mean, it's just sort of second nature to an environmental architect. And water tanks are just like, they're $1,000, you know.
Yeah.
And they're Brisbane and Melbourne both have water tank rebates. So, I mean, it's really easy for people to make sort of simple adjustments to their home. And I think there is a lot of potential in energy efficient, affordable housing. But I mean, you can have a house that's affordable and energy efficient. You don't have to have the amazing architecturally designed sort of green super home.
Yeah. I tell you what, I reckon you're amazing and you're not even 30 yet. What's in the future for you?
But thank you. Well, we're just sort of growing Green Pages. I mean, we're really trying to make it sort of the destination so you can sort of live your whole consuming life via the Green Pages products that we list. We're really working on the website to make sort of like a global digital community for sustainable business, and growing internationally, hopefully going to America and the UK in the next 2 years.
God.
Good stuff. You're a knockout. Thanks so much for coming in.
Yeah, it's been fascinating talking to you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Having dabbled in the murky stew of state politics, Stefano De Pieri could deny his culinary passion no longer and almost single-handedly turned the sun-smashed and remote Victorian town of Mildura into a food lover's fantasy. Christy Malthouse tucks in next.